Coming up on this episode of Up for Debate, we're going to the mall. Yes, the shopping mall, the center of American capitalism. We're going to talk about all the best stores, all the best food in the food court, and what the future of the malls really holds. Stick around, it's Up for Debate, and it's coming for you right now. This is Up for Debate, episode number 85, recorded August 17th, 2017. Let's go to the mall. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this episode of Up for Debate, the show that, when it takes a summer vacation, it does it right. I'm Sean Jennings, joined as always by, I'd call him Tan, but he was in Iceland. It's Matt Mariani.
Oh, hey there, Sean. I'm going to give you an Icelandic greeting. Slorvenborgen.
And a grand Slorvenborgen to you as well, sir.
Yes. I back from my big trip. Didn't go to any malls over there.
Oh.
If there was a mall, I might have gone to one, but I don't think there are any malls in Iceland. I could be wrong, but we didn't find any. So,
well,
just a lot of mountains and volcanoes and waterfalls.
Nice. Sounds lovely.
You could have had a mall, maybe like next to one of those waterfall, like a mall behind a waterfall. Could just call it the Waterfall Mall.
The Water Mall.
Water Mall.
Mall.
It even sounds kind of Icelandic.
I like it.
Yeah.
Catchy.
Yeah. So let's go to the mall.
Let's go to the mall, Matt. You know, you may not know this about me. You know a lot of things about me. You may not know this about me. There are certain things in life I find utterly fascinating. And the broad category of things I find fascinating is large-scale consumer-based construction projects. And you're thinking, what does that mean? Sports stadiums, amusement parks, shopping malls, these things fascinate me. And I don't know why. Maybe I was dropped on my head as a child. But I am infinitely fascinated by them because they're usually large, brilliantly engineered, fascinating economically, and are great microcosms of the American consumer capitalist experience. And I can think of no better way to describe that than the mall. And what's great about the shopping mall is that a mall is not necessarily a new concept, right? And you're the historian of the show. But, you know, the idea of a marketplace where people could exchange goods and services for currency isn't necessarily a new idea. What I love about the shopping mall is it perfected it. Like, it is the peak of retail. The original, the 70s and 80s and into the 90s shopping mall. You have to remember, they took open air shopping malls and they closed them in. I mean, that's what's great, is it's everything. It's food, it's stores, and even better, it's where people met as friends. It's where people went on dates. It's where families went. It's just such an interesting societal place, the shopping mall. And they also have, you know, everything. It's great. I love shopping malls. Are interesting. I find them fascinating.
Yes. Yeah. I did a lot of reading to the history of shopping malls before this show, and it was really interesting. I mean, like you said before, the concept of the mall as a place to shop is a concept that really goes all the way back to ancient Greece and Rome. You had the Agora in ancient Greece, the Forum in ancient Rome, places where people gathered, eventually became places of commerce and of worship, of gathering together people. And that concept continued, goes to, the Turks had the very first, I guess what we would call like a shopping mall. They had the bazaar, and every town under the Ottoman Empire had a bazaar. This place a little bit different from the Forum. It was basically designed as a giant open air shopping mall, and some of them were enclosed, believe it or not. There was a very famous one in Istanbul that is one of the oldest bazaars that's closed off. Has a roof on it. But the very first mall, believe it or not, as we know it today, Sean Jennings, do you know where it was built?
Oh boy, you're gonna say it and I'm gonna know it. It's got like oaks in the name or something. Why is that coming to mind? Damn it, where was it? You know the answer. No one wants to hear me guess wrong.
The very first shopping mall that we know it, of course, was built in. Yeah, it does have oaks in the name. It was built in London, actually, around the 19th century. Uh, but did you know that this mall was actually, or I should say, is actually still in existence
Or
today?
yes,
I'm looking at. Yes, it is. Oh, okay. The Burlington Arcade in London.
there you go.
Okay. There we go. Found the name. Uh, it was originally known as a shopping arcade, which I thought was pretty cool. It was open in the 19th century, and it wasn't called a mall, but it's kind of like our early predecessor to the shopping center. Um, then after that, the 20th century, of course, you had the height of commercialism, lots of commercialism going on there. What blew my mind in this research, though, like I was like almost got chills. Sean Jennings, did you know that the very first mall food court was built in 1974 in none other than the Paramus Park Mall in
Hey,
Paramus, New Jersey?
you know, I don't think people give Paramus enough credit. I think a lot of great innovations have come out of Paramus, like the food court.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, I'm ripping on Paramus.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But that mall holds a special place in my mind for being the closest place to my parents' house that has a Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
But it is a place that I have driven to go and obtain Chick-fil-A in the past before I moved to wonderful Northern Virginia, where there's a Chick-fil-A literally like 6 minutes down the street. So, but I was like bewildered to read that this was the first ever food court in America. They believe that the image of food courts was popularized by the popular 1980s film Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
There you go, Matt.
Is that an 80s film or something?
I don't know what year that came out. That's good. I've never actually seen that movie, so I couldn't.
I know that you're the font of 1980s and 70s culture.
Yeah, you would think that's
on this.
one of the many reasons I love shopping malls. Matt, do you know where the first modern shopping mall was built? The first climate controlled one in the United
No.
States?
I'm gonna just guess.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
It is Minnesota. Look at you. Someone's read up here. The Southdale Center in Edna, Minnesota, opened in 1956 and is still open today.
Right, Minnesota, very famous for their malls. The
Oh,
Mall of
that's right.
America,
That's right.
right? The largest mall in the world or in the country.
Well, a fun fact about the Mall of America, Matt. There we go. We'll just double down on fun facts here. The Mall of America is in the United States, the largest mall by total square footage because they got a goddamn amusement park in the middle. But it's not actually the largest mall by retail square footage. That distinction is held by the King of Prussia Mall in Prussia, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, another place I've been. I've been
A lot
to
of people
King of
don't.
Prussia.
I have as well. It's a mall.
I haven't been to the mall, but I've been to King of Prussia, Pennsylvania.
What else would you do in King of Prussia other than go to the King of Prussia Mall?
Funny you ask. I actually took a cooking class in Prussia, Pennsylvania.
That's not true. I don't
That's a
believe
real
it.
thing. I went out there for a cooking class, and
I'm not buying it.
right in King of Prussia, PA. I don't really know what else you would do other than that, than visit the King of Prussia Mall.
That's
I always got a kick out of the fact that the town is called King of Prussia. That's just such a cool name for a town.
yeah. I don't know where that comes from. I just think to me that sounds like you went to Bloomington, Minnesota, but didn't go to the Mall of America. Be like, no, I went there and I
Yeah,
got a haircut. Didn't have time to go to the Mall of
yeah.
America. Next time.
Oh, is that where the Mall of America is?
Oh, I
Oh,
I missed it. The big building there. I thought that was like a warehouse.
I thought that was a prison.
Um, No,
Yeah.
Matt, there's a lot to talk about with shopping malls. I think we've only just begun to scratch the surface of what the shopping mall has to offer. But I do want to start in our first segment here on the food court. As you mentioned, a mall staple, obviously been around since it was invented in lovely Paramus, New Jersey. And what, when you think of a mall food court, what comes to mind? Describe for me the Matt Mariani food court.
Terrible Chinese food.
Terrible Chinese food.
Terrible Chinese food that tastes really good and seems like a good decision at the time, but then later on you find out that it's not such a good idea. Um, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Definitely the first thing. After that, you got to have an ideal food court has to have a Cinnabon. Not enough food courts have Cinnabon,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a travesty.
It's a mall
A lot of them
classic.
have, like, yeah, you get like Auntie M's pretzels,
A
or
Mrs.
whatever.
Fields cookies.
Mrs. Fields cookies, exactly. But not enough have that Cinnabon. I feel like every mall food court should have a Cinnabon. And you get your mix. You know, you get like you get those Cajun restaurants
Mmm.
that I would really love to find out. This is such a phenomenon, but where these Cajun style food chains like Bourbon Street and Cajun Kitchen, they serve Chinese food. Like it's not even bourbon food. It's not. I mean, it's not even you got like bourbon chicken, which is really just kind of like sesame chicken, and you get lo mein. They straight up just give you lo
I
mein.
know.
I want to know like what Cajun cookbook you were reading that had lo mein in it. It's just wild, and I'd love to find out the reason for that.
Well, I'm very interested in starting the conspiracy if someone already hasn't. That, you know how like sunglasses, for example, like one company owns 90% of the sunglass market because they bought all the sunglass makers. Like I'm convinced there's one company that secretly runs all of the mall Chinese and Cajun restaurants because they're all the fucking same. They're all
Yeah,
the same. You can go to any
all the
mall
same.
and they're identical, but they're not, like obviously a McDonald's anywhere is identical too, but they're not branded identically. How do they do that? I'm telling you, there is some like secret corporate billionaire owner somewhere who is secretly running all of the mall Chinese and bourbon themed restaurants.
Yeah, kind of makes me think of the Chinese buffets too.
There
A
you
lot
go.
of those are also basically the same
Where
with,
do they
with
come
little
from?
little variation. Yeah, I feel like there's one headquarters that kind of is just in charge, one hive mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I guess the Cajun thing. I mean, obviously it's pure branding.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like we'll call it Cajun so it sounds exciting, or it sounds different. It just sounds different. People like things that are different. Um, not too many opportunities to go to a Cajun restaurant, right? Unless you live in like Louisiana. So,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there are
but
some
it's very fun.
malls that have 3 or 4 Chinese restaurants. You got to differentiate yourself.
Right.
Now, now I'd
What
also
else you got?
a mall staple, Sbarro. You got to
Yeah.
got to throw the Sbarro in there.
Yes. Sbarro, my favorite New York pizza joint. You
That's,
got to have Sbarro.
that's right. Authentic New York style pizza.
Um, you have your. I feel like there are. You know what? There's not enough. There's not enough places to get a good steak. At a mall food court.
Oh,
Would you get a mall food court steak?
Would I get a mall food court steak? Let me think about
Like an
that.
Outback, like Outback Steakhouse should be taking advantage of this and get a little like stand, an Outback stand.
So, Matt, which would you be less likely to get? Mall steak or mall sushi?
I'd be less likely to get the mall steak for sure. I've gotten mall sushi before.
Ooh.
It's bad, but I've never gotten sick off of it. The mall steak, I would want to try it. I'd give it a try. I would go in with little expectations, but it may surprise you. May become the next thing. Another thing that mall food courts should have is I'm surprised that they don't have this. Why not throw in some shish kebab? There's a lot of great kebab places. It's such a portable food. People can eat it while they're shopping, or eat it while they're walking around the mall. That's just a great solution.
I think.
But yeah,
You got the malls always. You got to have the hot dog place, right? Maybe a Nathan's or
Nathan's is a go-to place.
That's a good portable.
I always feel like though if I eat at a Nathan's in a mall, I feel like I've lost some. I feel like I've like been defeated because it's like it's got to be the least exciting thing that you can get. But what's less exciting than a hot dog and fries?
Well, it's like you go to a food court and it's like how often when you go to like a regular restaurant, you only have what that restaurant serves. It's like if you go to a steakhouse, you're going to get a steak. The amazing thing about a mall food court is there's options. You can get, I want a cheesesteak. You can get a cheesesteak. I want sushi. You can get sushi. Why would you go to a mall food court and be like, you know what exotic cuisine I feel like trying? A hot dog. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Although then again, I'm the guy who at the food court gets a hamburger, so I guess who am I to?
The Nathan's is really there for the picky, the very picky kids or whatever, the picky guys.
Sure.
But it is pretty cool because you can have like 4 friends and each person gets something else, like something different.
Yeah, everyone's
like
happy.
That. Very rare that something like that happens. So very good for agreement. Everybody can just kind of get what they want.
Now, Matt, I'll give you one more here. Are you a fan of Orange Julius?
Do you know Orange Julius is the first thing that pops into my mind whenever I think of a mall, but I've never been inside of an Orange Julius.
What?
I don't even, to be perfectly honest, I have no idea what they even sell. Wow. Is it clothes, food? I'm assuming because orange is in the name, it's probably like a drink place. Now they do like orange, smoothies.
Yeah, you figured it out. So Wikipedia describes them as a chain of fruit drink beverage stores, which is not very appealing sounding. But no, it's kind of like smoothie. Their original beverage is the Orange Julius, which Wikipedia describes as a mixture of ice, orange juice, sweetener, milk, powdered egg whites, and vanilla flavoring, like an orange creamsicle. And if you've never had an Orange Julius, I will rep. They're hard to find. Most of them have, although they say there are 5,700 locations. I don't think that's right. I think they're hard to find. I don't see many of them. Whenever I see an Orange Julius, you got to stop and get the Orange Julius.
Yeah, next time I see one, I will definitely make sure to do that.
I think you should.
Because I hear them. I hear like on whatever cartoon shows or movies. There's always like a reference to Orange Julius, and I never been in one.
Yeah, they were synonymous with malls back in the 80s. That was a very common location in malls that just doesn't exist anymore.
And where did they go? They just disappeared?
No, Dairy Queen bought them.
Oh. Okay.
In 1987, and they're still around. You can still find them. But like if you go to Dairy Queen restaurants, a lot of them serve Orange Julius.
Really?
You just don't see a lot of standalone Orange Julius stores.
Check that out. I have a Dairy Queen right over here. It's pretty good. I'll have to go and get an Orange Julius.
But if I did have to pick out the number one mall food, I would have to give it up for Cinnabon. Mainly because for 2 reasons. One, you can't get it anywhere but a mall. Like, it's not like if I want like McDonald's or something, I can get that in a mall or I can get it anywhere. Chick-fil-A, I can get anywhere, right?
Right.
Cinnabon, basically malls and airports are kind of like the only, and rest stops on the highway are the only place you can get Cinnabon.
Yeah, you're never just driving down the street in your town and like, oh, look at that. They put up a Cinnabon here. Like, never. Never see it. It's only pretty much exclusive.
It is.
I think Cinnabon actually makes some decent coffee, believe it or not.
I've never tried the
Have
coffee.
you had their coffee?
No.
Decent coffee, and you can get the K cups too that are pretty good. Cinnabon K cups.
I'm always too
Love
busy stuffing Cinnabons down my throat to drink the coffee, which probably isn't good. I want to hear what your mall pick is, but before we do, we are streaming live on Facebook right now. We got a couple fans watching. Michael Johnson comments, as someone who has seen Matt eat some rather grotesque things, I can attest to his credentials as an adventurous eater. We all know that to be true. And Colin Turkel comments, the best part of any mall food court is the pretzel place, like Auntie Anne's or whatever, your pretzel times or whatever suits your. But I know Colin, I think I borrowed your Auntie Anne's like buy 10 pretzels, get one free punch card back in 2009. And I owe that to you. I think you had like half them punched. So make sure I give that back.
Well, you borrowed it back in 2009 and only half of them are punched?
No, they were half punched when they were given to me, and I've never bought a pretzel with it.
Oh, by now
I don't think I've ever bought a mall pretzel. I've never at a mall and want a pretzel.
No, it's true. I'm giving you grief, but I think I've only been to an Auntie Anne's like once.
No, mall pretzels. I appreciate again, another food you can pretty much only get in malls. Like if you're not in a mall or like a ballpark, where are you going to get a pretzel? True. So I respect that. But at the same time, I do not want a pretzel at a shop. I'm not walking around a shopping mall with my bags of things I bought, and I'm like, God, I am famished. You know what I would like? A hot pretzel.
You know what I want at a mall? Well, I'm walking around a mall, and I think Colin Turkel, you can back me up here. Some takoyaki. They should have a takoyaki place in a mall.
I don't even want to know
that should
what
be
that
a
is.
go-to mall food. It's delicious.
I don't even want to know. And Colin does comment, again, he says, dude, talking about his frequent pretzel card. And then he says, Auntie Anne's was the most unlikely chain that I never expected to see in Japan, and yet there it was in a train station in Tokyo.
No way.
Japanese people love their Auntie Anne's pretzel.
I guess so. They also love their takoyaki.
Whatever that is. Kids Google it.
Serve takoyaki right next to their daigaku ino.
Now you're just saying nonsense. Not true at all.
Domo arigato, Sean-san.
Wow. This is off the rails. As usual. Expect nothing less. So Matt, what's your go-to mall food?
Like I said before, I usually get the really good / really bad Chinese food that's really starts out being really good, and then you eat too much of it, and it ends in a really bad place. Mm-hmm. Get the really good. If I'm not tempted by the Chinese food, my next go-to on the list is probably like if they have a steak place, you know, like when they have steak, like not like literal steak, but
like a
cheesesteak.
Like a Charlie's cheesesteak, or
that's it. Charlie's
is good. Charlie's is good.
I'm a fan, and that's another place that you can't just. I've never been to a Charlie's cheesesteak. I don't think they exist outside the world of shopping malls. Mm-hmm. So Charlie's cheesesteak is good. You know, trying to think what other Taco Bell might be like next on the list, honestly. Then we're getting into like basic crap.
Well, Michael Johnson on Facebook says, for a mall treat, you can't beat a good smoothie, easily handheld and refreshing. And I agree, Michael Johnson, go to Orange Julius, get an Orange Julius, and your mall experience will be that much better.
If you can find an Orange Julius.
If you go back to 1984 and go to your local shopping center,
get in your DeLorean and
stop at Benetton, pick up some goods, stop at the Sam Goody, buy a few albums, a few cassette tapes, and then go to your local Orange Julius.
John, if they ever invent time travel, I want you to know you are the first person I would pick to come with me back to the 1980s. And just because I would need you as like a cultural translator.
Am I the guy in the movie, right? Because this is the movie you and I are going to write, where you invent time travel or you stumble upon it or something, right? And you're like, dude, we're going to go back to the 80s, but I don't know anything about the 80s. Smash cut to me, like, in my apartment, like, rocking out to Duran Duran and, with the big oversized sunglasses. And
yeah, and you have, like, your Rush shirt on. And
yeah. Yeah, the door just busts open. Sean, I invented time travel. Dude.
Back to the Except it'd be more like I would be trying to get back to, like, the 1280s or 1380s, and then all of a sudden the time machine breaks and we're in the 1980s.
I'd watch that movie. That would be pretty good.
Yeah. The next thing we know, we're at a school dance and you're rocking out to Johnny Be Good.
Yeah.
As going nuts.
As the photograph fades, as we slowly cease to exist.
Yeah. Oh man. Now my heart's set on some takoyaki. I wish I had a taco.
We're gonna just push through it, and we're gonna keep moving on here. So other things about shopping malls, Matt. Now, I think when I think, you gotta remember the way shopping malls have been built historically is there are anchor stores, and then there's the rest of the mall. And you'll know, so you look at any map of any mall, and that's how it works. Usually your anchor stores are your J.C. Penney's, and your Macy's, and your Sears, and your Circuit Cities, and your Bon-Tons, and your Zayres, and your Ames, and your Bradleys, and your... now I'm just into ones that don't exist anymore. But you get the idea. And then they have all of the small stores in between. That's usually how malls are constructed.
Is FYE still a thing?
I don't think... I was trying to think of all the stereotypical mall stores. I don't think FYE exists anymore. Is Spencer's still a thing?
Yes. Spencer's Gifts. Is that what you're thinking of? That's still a thing. I've seen those.
Or like Claire's.
Claire's is still a thing.
That's a Hot Topic.
Oh, Hot Topic, yes.
That's a mall classic.
That is a mall classic because it caters to the mall demographic, which is the teenagers.
People with nothing better to do.
Teenage punks and their skateboards and their loud music that hang out at the malls. Exactly. You walk by.
Damn kids.
Yeah, that's usually some mall stuff right there.
Bath and Body Works.
Yeah. Tivana.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Starbucks, of course.
Wow.
You gotta have lots of Starbucks.
Yeah, you need to have like 4.
Now, what I didn't understand, do you remember, Sean Jennings, do you remember Funko Land?
No, I don't think that was a thing.
Have you been to Funko Land? Oh, Funko Land is the best.
Okay, and what is
so cool?
Funko Land?
Funko Land. It was basically like a really cool Blockbuster. Blockbuster was kind of like the man. You know what I'm saying? It was like the establishment. Funko Land was just I don't know if they had DVDs. I think they might have only had games, but I've seen those in malls. Obviously, they don't exist anymore because of things like GameFly and Netflix. But
yeah,
if they could bring back one thing from that used to be in malls, Funko Land.
Funko Land. Well, see, we didn't have a Funko Land. We had an electronics boutique.
I like Funko Land.
And before that, we had Babbage's.
Babbage's.
That was way back. That goes back to the early 90s.
Comp USA.
Comp USA, sure. Yeah. Fry's.
Funko Land just blows them all out of the water. Like, look, that name is so cool. Funko Land.
Yeah, but that sounds like a front for something. Like that's trying too hard.
Yeah. Funko
Land.
Yeah, I don't know if they exist anymore. Probably not, would be my guess.
They're so obscure they don't have a Wikipedia page, so... Oh, no, here we go. Funko... Oh, no. Funko Land redirects to GameSpot, or GameStop. Maybe GameStop bought them.
GameStop probably bought them. It's probably what happened. Wouldn't be surprised.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, Mr. Sean. What's your go-to place in the mall? What do you go to the
Matt,
mall for? What do you like to see in the mall?
you know what fascinates me about malls, Matt? Mall walkers. Are you familiar with this breed of individual?
Mall walkers.
Mall walkers.
Are these just like window shoppers?
No, these are people who go to shopping malls exclusively to get exercise with no plans to buy anything. There are these clubs you can do it on your own, or you can join. Certain malls have clubs, and you sign up, and you go and you just walk laps around the mall.
Wow,
This is a thing.
that's
Absolutely a thing,
that's kind of insane.
isn't it?
I have to say.
But it kind of makes
I don't
sense
know.
because where else are you going to get as large of a flat walking surface indoors than you get at a shopping mall?
Yeah, but I feel like, I mean, just speaking from a personal standpoint here, there's only so many times I can walk around the mall before I start to go insane,
Yeah, but isn't that the
like
same?
looking at things over and over again.
But isn't that the same as any other lap-based? I know people who walk around parks in laps.
I could totally see it if it's like raining outside, but I mean, got to get that fresh air, man.
Well, but
Like,
if you live in like this time of year, if you lived in Florida or Texas or Arizona where it's 100 plus degrees outside,
really hot. I'm just afraid for the future. Like, is this what our future is going to be? Everybody's going to be walking around indoors and never going outside because the sun is too hot. It could burn our skin at any minute.
well, that's just global warming.
Probably how the future is going to be, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did they ever fix that hole in the ozone layer? Because they were talking
I
about
think
doing
that
it for a while, and then now no one talks about it anymore. Like it's not a problem.
no, I know that Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life tried to fix it, but I don't know
RECYCLE recycle. Okay. Boy, are we off topic.
his musical episode.
CONSREV conserve. All right. We could just do Rocco's Modern Life for the next hour. I would be fine with that.
It's getting a reboot.
I'm kind of excited. I really hope they don't blow it because I watch reruns of that show now and it's still fantastic.
Yeah.
What a twisted piece of comedy. But no, Matt, when it comes to shopping malls, I don't go to shopping malls anymore because I'm 26 in the year 2017 and I'm a millennial and I don't go to shopping malls. Millennials are killing shopping malls, Matt. They're killing. We are in the darkest days of the shopping mall. Not since the Middle Ages themselves have shopping malls been in such dangerous predicaments.
Yeah. I mean, when you have Amazon, you don't really need to ever go anywhere.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you, Matt, because it's an undeniable fact, and there's a little bit of an argument about maybe they're starting to bounce back a little bit, but there's no argument that retail is hurting. Stores are closing. In the next 5 years, we could see Sears and JCPenney completely disappear off the map. A totally real possibility. Stores are struggling. But the question is, why? Why are malls struggling? What is the reason? Is it that people are shopping online, or could there be other causes for the decline in the American mall shopper? And I wanted to get your theory. Now, one of the reasons I started thinking about us talking about shopping malls, I picked this on Don't Panic 2 weeks ago. There's this fantastic YouTube series called the Dead Mall series by a guy named Dan Bell. You should check it out. He goes around the East Coast to what he calls dead malls, which are malls that are still technically open, but have like 2 stores in them. And he films them. And it's some of the most fascinating, tragic stuff you've ever seen, some of these malls. But it really got me thinking, why, Matt? Why? What is going on? Solve our retail crisis.
I don't know. I think once you have people that can get literally anything that they can think of on an app or on a website, and they never have to leave their house, that frees up your time to go do other things. More likely than not, going to be other things that don't involve going to a mall. I think that people used to go to the mall to get everything they wanted in a close proximity. For example, when it's Christmas time and you're doing your Christmas shopping, you have all the stores right there, right across from each other. You only have to park your car once. You get all the crap you need, and then you're done. Now, you don't even have to leave your couch, and you get all the crap you need delivered to your front door. So I think that just the need for malls is ceasing to exist. Other than just the pure convenience of like meeting up with friends, I feel like is what's saving malls or keeping them alive right now. Like, you could still, it's a rainy day, you want to meet up with some friends, but you don't have the money to go to the movies, or there's nothing playing that you're into or whatever. Even if you want to go catch a movie, there's a lot of malls that have movie theaters. Like, that's what malls are still good for. They're points of contact for multiple people to meet up. But other than that, like, who really needs to map out a trip to the mall anymore when you can just get everything online?
Matt, you're wrong.
Yeah. What?
You're wrong. You are incorrect. You
Incorrect?
You are. I call baloney.
I did not realize that there was a correct answer to
There
this.
is, and the one you gave is not that.
I thought we were just spitballing here.
You think this is an opinion show? No, we're fact-based here.
Yeah. I thought we were up for opinion.
No, man. No. I do think online has some piece of it, but I genuinely feel people give online shopping too much credit in this situation. And I can think of 3 good other reasons why malls are struggling. 1, go into any mall for the most part in America, and you'll notice they all look the same, which I think is kind of creepy, where they all have that same like salmon, pink, and green tile, and the trash cans all look, and they have those benches. Every mall kind of looks the same. But they all look the same as they did in the 80s because no one's done anything to keep malls a pleasant place to be. There are a lot of successful malls in this country. They're all the ones that were built in the last 5 years because they're built in a way that people like to go to. My local shopping mall here in the greater Springfield area, not a great mall. It's kind of run down and kind of shitty. And I don't want to go there because it's not a pleasant place to be.
So tell me what the format is. What makes these malls better? Is it an aesthetic?
The newer malls, you mean?
Is it more functionally? Yeah, the malls that you say were built in the last 5 years. Is it a functionality thing? Are they more convenient?
So I'll give you a couple. 1, I think I'm interested in this idea of indoor-outdoor malls because a lot of the new construction's leaning towards the open-air malls. I'm not sure if one's better than the other. I think you can do both successfully, but I think it's an interesting development. I will say, 2, they are building malls in better areas. The problem with a lot of older malls is that they were built and then businesses came and went in the surrounding areas, and now they're failing because there's no one there to shop. They build the malls in the new areas that are more successful. So that's part of it, too. I'll also say that a lot of malls now are built in mixed use. So they used to just build a mall, surround it with a giant parking lot, and then there was nothing else. Nowadays, like when I was in Houston and I'd go to the new shiny malls they built there, they were surrounded by other restaurants, by apartments, by other interesting things going on, open spaces and parks and shit. I mean, it was like whole big developments where a mall was only part of it. So it gives you more of a reason to go there and feel good about being there. But I will also say the thing about new malls gets to my second point, which is old, dying malls have shitty stores nobody wants to shop at. The problem isn't that your local mall is necessarily terrible. It's that JCPenney is terrible. And Sears is terrible. And Macy's is terrible. I don't think people are going online shopping because it's more convenient, and especially when it comes to things like clothes and shoes. I think people are doing it because their local malls don't have things they want to wear. There are a lot of successful clothing retailers out there in the world. They don't have stores at your local mall. That's the problem.
Yeah, Uniqlo. I'm repping Uniqlo. I love.
There you go.
Love Uniqlo, Sean. It's a problem.
I'm not cool enough to wear Uniqlo, but that's
I'm
okay.
not thin enough to wear Uniqlo, but I buy their clothes in the hopes that someday I will be.
But that's what malls need. Seriously, malls need to have what's current in them with trends. And malls in the 80s and 90s used to do that. And then all those stores left, or they didn't, they aren't going to build a JCPenney. Uniqlo doesn't need to be a JCPenney size store. That's part of the problem. The stores just aren't good. So I think that's the other big issue. The last one is that malls no longer are relevant as a social space in addition to a shopping space. Think about it. When I go to the mall, I go to one store, I buy what I need, and I get the hell out of there. I do not stick around at the mall because there's no reason to. It's not like back in the day when you wanted to hang out with your friends. You went to the mall and you just were there for hours and you just dicked around. Now, you don't do that. Most of the time you're online. When you do meet in person, you don't do it at your local mall because your local mall has shitty stores and it's run down.
Yeah. Are you sure you're not just thinking like, well, now I have a car and I could get my friends and drive to a baseball game.
Well, there's just
like we could go other places. Usually like back then, like your parents had to drop you off at the mall and you would just hang out with your friends and dick around all day. But I think that was more out of, well, we have to because we have no ride. We have to stay in the mall forever.
But here's the thing. A lot of retail, and this is kind of maybe point 4, which is a lot of retail is now building standalone stores. It's very popular now because they can build them custom. The leasing works a little bit better. That's why when you see new Starbucks, they're not in malls. They're in their own building. You see new Chipotles, they're in their own building, right? I think people are going there and not to shopping malls because they don't need to go there for 5 things. They're like, hey, you don't say, hey, let's go to the mall. You say, hey, let's go to Chipotle. Hey, let's go to whatever standalone store.
I don't know, Sean. I mean, I definitely agree that malls can be better designed, and that's a topic I would really like to explore more with you. But I still have to say that the number one reason, in my mind, is the online, is the convenience. It's just that it's just more convenient to get things online. You don't have to go out. You can go out and like do other things instead of going to malls because if you need it, boom, order it online.
Yeah, but
boom.
I would argue online shopping is hurting the Targets and Walmarts of the world more than it's hurting the malls because on online shopping in a shopping mall, theoretically in a good shopping mall, there should be things there that you will buy in person and not online. Because the stuff I buy online is generic crap that if the internet didn't exist, I would buy at Target. And so
that's the thing is there's just so much available on the internet. You could like you can get generic crap, but you could also go on Etsy and get a bunch of unique crap.
Well, but a mall was never going to do that either.
No.
I mean, I guess if the theory is there's only so many retail dollars and they're taking bigger slices, then yeah, I guess that's fair.
It's like surpassing the mall. If anything, maybe the answer to saving the mall is by turning it into some kind of like almost, it's really funny, but almost going back to the bazaar, going back to like the 13th and 14th century bazaars that would sell a bunch of unique crap. You know, like little like I don't want to say mom and pop fronts, but just like little like craft artisan stores where every mall you go to would be a completely unique experience.
Well,
the things that you would buy in it would be places you couldn't, like things that you literally could not buy anywhere else.
Well, what's fascinating about that, Matt, is you're absolutely on the right track. If you look at a lot of these quote unquote dead malls, the few stores that are still in them are local businesses that came in, and because the leases were so cheap because the mall's in such bad situation, that they came in and opened stores in the mall, and those are the malls that are kind of bouncing back a little bit. A lot of the reason is because of that, is because of smaller businesses, not the J.C. Penney's of the world, that are putting up storefronts and delivering something that, you're right, you can't get anywhere else. So I agree. I think that's a fantastic option for malls. For me, you ask if I were designing a mall or if I were telling a mall how to fix itself, the big problem is, and this happened in 2008 with the crash, part of the reason places like Circuit City went out of business, too much square footage. These stores cannot support the square footage they are in. There's a reason why smaller stores are kind of doing okay. It's the JCPenney and Sears of the world, because they have these massive 2-story, 150,000 square foot stores that they just can't fill with enough stuff and people to pay for it. If I were building a mall today, no anchor stores, no large stores, a lot of medium and small stores, but no large store. You don't need it. You don't need it in this retail environment, because you're right. You should only be having things in your store that people will go specifically to your store to get. I'm not going to go to Sears and buy a garden hose and a wrench and some pants and a TV and a dryer. I'm not going to do it. That doesn't make any sense. Just sell me one thing.
Yeah, save yourself the gas money.
But again, about half of what I listed I can get online.
Yeah.
But what can't you get online, right? I'm going to go to the store if I'm buying a washer and dryer. That makes sense. Not going to buy that online.
Right. But doubtful you'll go to a mall to get a washer and dryer.
But I would if there was a store. I mean, I went to Lowe's to get my washer and dryer, and Lowe's are in some malls. So, again, I think it's just about the types of generic department stores aren't where it's at. I went to my local mall the other day, and I went to one store because I went there just to go to DSW, which is a great store. They only sell shoes. They sell a lot of shoes. I need shoes. I'm not going to buy shoes online, so I'm going to go buy shoes at DSW. So I went to the mall. I didn't go in any other stores at the mall. I went to DSW and I left.
Yeah. What they got to start bringing back like more unique. Like you said, the malls are all too similar. They're too generic. If every mall had its own unique flavor and was very unique to that town, that location, I think that more people would stop by and more people would want to take their families there or take their friends there. And like nobody spends the day at the mall anymore. It used to be a thing to do when it was, rainy outside. Some people maybe still do that, but it's just not as enticing as it used to be, I guess. And the answer to that would definitely be more takoyaki. You got to get takoyaki stands and put them up all over the mall. And you got to get garlic fries. Is that something I mentioned? Garlic fries would be great. A great mall snack.
Would it though?
Garlic fries with sour cream to dip in. And maybe some of them you can get like some chives.
That's not very portable. It's bad for your breath.
Well, each one would come with like a mint. That would be their thing. Their thing would be like, here's your fries and mint.
I can't think of anything more unappealing than eating a lot of garlic and then eating a mint.
Well, the mint isn't really for you, Sean. It's for the people who have to smell your garlicky breath.
Oh, they just smell the mint and then they don't have to smell. Oh, all right. All right. Now it's clicking. That makes sense. Mall kiosks are great.
Mall kiosks are great. Dippin' Dots is great.
Dippin' Dots. Holy shit. How is that still? I thought they went bankrupt a few years ago. How are they still a thing?
The only place you see them are at baseball games.
Amusement parks and shopping malls. That's about it.
Melts so fast. They claim that it doesn't melt, but it does. It melts.
Ice cream of the future, my ass.
But it was the ice cream of the future, and then that future never came.
Nope.
Nope.
Bad call.
Take that, gastronomy.
I remember back in, maybe people still do it, I guess, because they still exist, but back when you would go to the mall kiosks for like phone accessories.
Yeah, and they would break in like 2 days. Yeah.
I remember I was in my mall once and they had free personality tests for Scientology at a kiosk in my mall. Like, sir, would you like a free personality test? I'm like,
that's when they tell you that you're severely depressed and you need Scientology
That's
to
when you
help
use
you
the
out.
e-meter to check your thetans. Yeah, no, I steered way clear of them.
You know what would be a cool thing to have at a mall is speaking of like made up bullshit is like a tarot reading table.
Oh, sure.
Like somebody could read your tarot cards. That'd be cool. Sits there and just like yells insults at you, like everybody that walks by. But spoiler, it's actually a dunk tank. So he's yelling insults at you, but he's sitting where he's sitting has like a trap door, and like you pay for like some bean bags that you can throw at the target, and then the trap door opens up. But instead of falling into a tank of water, he falls into the next floor of the mall and probably gets really badly hurt.
Matt, is your mall just a carnival? I'm a little
I'm just thinking of
suspicious.
things that would make malls unique, Sean, and I think that's very unique, isn't it? What mall has that? None of them.
Well, Mall of America does have an amusement park.
Yeah, it does. It's true. But does it have a magic shop that has all magic
Ooh, and you go
equipment?
into the magic shop, and the proprietor knows your name before you come in, and he offers to sell you something for a lot of money, but then gives it to you for free, but then gives you a cryptic
That's
warning about it, and then when you leave and turn back, the store's not there.
Wow. The monkey's paw.
I've read a lot of Goosebumps as a kid, so
Yeah.
I'm used to these things.
Uh, one of them could sell some unlucky things, and like an unlucky store, like a ladder that you could walk, like actually
Like mirrors you
okay,
can break, and black cats are just wandering around.
the entrance to the store is a ladder that you have to walk under. You have to walk underneath the ladder, and somebody hands you an umbrella, and the entire store, the floor is all cracks. So every time you step,
Yeah.
you break your mother's back.
Wow. I don't know how you
And
make any money doing that, but
I feel like somehow with like the irony of the universe, it would actually be very successful and profitable, even though it's very
because
unlucky.
it's taking all the bad luck off of you and putting it on all the people who come in the store, so you get rich while they have great misfortune.
Yes. How about haunted houses, Sean? Do they have haunted houses in malls?
You know, that would be a really good idea for like a closed mall or a mall that went out of business to host a haunted house in the mall. Haunted mall.
What if the entire mall was haunted?
That would be great.
Everywhere was haunted, and you were locked inside the mall. Wow, that would be pretty fun
That's a good idea.
and really, really scary. Really scary. Holy crap! I would not want to be in a haunted mall, but I bet there's people that would, like thrill seekers, would probably pay money to do it. How about an entire mall that's made just for thrill seekers? People that want like death-defying thrills. You have to sign like a waiver.
What, like blades shoot out of the floor or something? Like, what do you?
I mean, like, yeah, the entire mall has traps in it. Okay, everywhere there's traps, and you have to like solve puzzles and unlock clues, but it's the whole mall, just
Matt,
to like go anywhere.
That's not a mall. That's a Saw movie.
Well, they would be safe, I guess. I mean, you could do whatever you want. It's your mall, but
In Matt's mall, you will die.
you can make it like safe and kid friendly, and I'm sure you'd make a lot of money. That actually reminds me. All right, there is an attraction at some malls. They're starting to have these escape rooms. Have you heard of these escape rooms?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so these escape rooms are actually fantastic because they bring people to the mall.
I agree. Unique
All right, so
experiences.
that's something.
Go-karts. They're putting those in a lot of malls now.
Go-karts and ice skating and batting cages,
Carousels and
bumper cars and shooting ranges and paintball and
sounds like
dirt
a fun
bikes and rollerblades
mall. And jet skis and
hovercraft,
helicopters and
all kinds of cool.
Volleyball.
I always, you know how the Mall of America has that amusement park section to it?
Yeah.
What if a mall had a roller coaster that went around the entire mall?
Okay.
Does Does anybody do that? And then
Well,
but you can get off at certain places, kind of like a monorail.
that's just a really fast monorail.
Yeah, I guess it's just a monorail, but it has loop de loops.
I don't
It's just like an exciting monorail.
I don't think they could do that.
Big mall to do it, but
I don't think science has progressed far enough for that to be possible.
yeah. Someday though, someday.
Although I will say there is a place that's like a mall but worse. And that would be the airport. Because airports are kind of
Okay.
like malls. Because they have shopping and they have
Yeah.
crappy food.
But airports are just like malls, but they're like malls that you're forced to be at. And
You have to go through heavy security to get into.
kind of stuck. Yeah, heavy security to get into, and you don't leave until your flight leaves. So you're just like it's like I think it's a way to just make us feel better for our temporary captivity that we can.
But there's
Like-
never anything good in an air. Like I've in all the airports I've ever. No, that's not true. Amsterdam has a very nice airport. Most of the airports I've been in, I never want to buy anything or eat anything because it all looks terrible.
I try to buy and eat as little as possible in the airports. Portugal had a very nice airport. Lisbon was
International airports are very nice.
I very much like the Lisbon airport. I wouldn't mind being stuck there for layovers. Stuttgart, Germany. I had a layover there on my way to Portugal, and they had a nice airport. It was very clean and efficient. Although I think I may have had the worst bagel of my life.
You got an airport
Don't
bagel.
get a bagel. Airport bagels are bad. Don't get them. It wasn't a bagel. It wasn't even close to a bagel. Anyway, yeah, try not to get food at airports. I mean, I know you have to do it, but in that scenario, man, just like go with the most reliable. It's like go to a McDonald's because at least you know what you're gonna get. A lot of airports have exotic and crazy things that are expensive and really don't taste all that great. So
Yeah. By the way, minor pro tip, and then I swear we're gonna go back to malls. Seat Guru, which is an app you can get. It's really great. It tells you all about. Or no, it's not Seat Guru. They changed the name because they don't just do airplane seats anymore. I will look up the name. But anyway, there's an app that's really Gate Guru, that's what it is. Gate Guru. And it's a database of all the major airports in the world. And they've got maps and they tell you all the food and all the stores that are in there, and you can get a list, and then they have ratings of all the different places, and I use that all the time when I was traveling. Especially when you get to, when you're in like Atlanta or Detroit or some of the really big airports, it's very convenient to know where stuff is. So,
yeah, okay. Gate Guru.
Gate Guru. All right, Matt. Anything else on shopping malls?
No, I have a story that I have to tell you this story because you talked about Orange Julius before. You said their most popular product was a creamsicle shake, if I'm not mistaken. You said it was like it's called the Orange Julius, and you said it tasted like a creamsicle, right?
A bit, yeah.
Okay. I have to tell you that one time I tried to make a creamsicle drink. This may surprise you, but I can get kind of creative with food and beverages. I bet you could guess exactly what I did and how to make this creamsicle.
First, my first thought was Matt got orange soda in the Maris cafeteria and put a bunch of soft serve into it.
No, that would have been great. That would have been a genius idea. No,
But instead
this is high school Matt or middle school Matt. I think high school Matt.
Mhm.
He took orange juice and just mixed it with some milk.
That sounds exactly like.
It was exactly like you might imagine a creamsicle would not taste like. It was just a foul looking, foul tasting, but I don't know. I would not recommend it. Actually, the milk and the orange juice is kind of separated, and you could like taste each one independently, like one right after the other. It was like the orange and then the milk. It was awful. I'm looking forward to the actual Orange Julius. I'm going to try it as soon as I can.
Yeah.
and I will report back.
Yeah, definitely do it. We'll have to do a whole episode sometime on just weird shit you've made and eaten, because I feel like we could do a whole hour on that.
And easily, you know, those brackets we had, we could do like a whole brackets
Matt's
episode.
food inventions, Sweet
Yeah.
16. I love it.
But you gotta like decide if it's gonna be the most disgusting things I've ever attempted or the best things.
Matt, I swear we'll never do it. But if we ever do it, I will make and videotape myself consuming every single one.
Oh,
So
it's a promise that you may regret.
I know, but one I will have to keep. All right. Well, that's fantastic. We are out of time. We got to wrap it up here. If you have thoughts on shopping malls and you want to get a hold of us or just thoughts on anything in the show in general, please do so. We still have the phone number, 508-644-TECH. That's 508-644-8324. You can also email us at upfordebatetv@gmail.com or tweet at us at upfordebatetv on Twitter. Of course, we do the show Thursday nights, I'm going to say roughly 8 p.m., give or take. But you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/upfordebatetv, like the page, and it'll let you know when we go live because we stream live there. Of course, you can get this show anytime on our website at upfordebate.tv, where we've got all the episodes, the audio and the video are there. You can check us out. Just search Up for Debate TV on YouTube. And, of course, the podcast available wherever you get your podcasts. I'm going to virtually guarantee we're there, so download and subscribe to get new episodes. That is it. We are done, but we will be back next time with more great discussion. We hope you had as much fun as we did. On behalf of Matt, this is Sean. Thank each and every one of you for joining us, and hoping we'll see you next time for more great debate here on Up for Debate.